Welcome to the Deep Dive, your daily look at the news that matters. Today, we're zeroing in on AI, lots happening there. We'll touch on manufacturing, some big moves from key players, how we're working with AI, and these new AI agents popping up.
Yeah, it's pretty clear from today's headlines that AI is really moving out of the lab and into the real world. Let's talk about just building the tech, more about actually using it, putting these intelligent systems to work.
Absolutely. Let's dive right into manufacturing. That seems to be a hotbed right now. Autonomous navigation for robots. That's becoming a really big deal, isn't it?
Oh, definitely. And the core idea, is moving beyond robots that just follow rigid preset instructions. Machine learning lets them use data to learn and adapt. Think factories, warehouses, even farms.
So they can handle environments that aren't perfectly predictable.
Exactly. It's more like learning from experience than just executing a fixed program. Much more flexible.
And I guess computer vision fits in here too, allowing robots to actually see and identify things.
Right. Crucial for grabbing the right part off a shelf or, avoiding obstacles, including people. And then you've got reinforcement learning sort of teaching them through trial and error, rewarding good moves, discouraging bad ones.
So they get better over time on their own.
In a sense, yeah. They optimize their actions. Plus, there's sensor fusion combining data from, say, GPS and cameras.
Ah, okay. So they get a richer picture of where they are and what's around them.
Precisely. Better location tracking, smarter routes, especially if the layout changes.
And all this tech leads to these smart factories we hear about. Robots picking parts, finding efficient paths, even spotting defects visually, which hopefully also means safer workplaces. I saw a stat about thousands of safety violations.
Yeah, automation can take over dangerous tasks, leading to safer workflows. But the articles also highlight the people behind the AI, the data pros who train these models, tune the algorithms. Their expertise is vital.
Makes sense. And are we seeing actual results?
We are. One car maker, for instance, apparently cut robot inspection time by 70%. 70. And improved weld quality using computer vision and deep learning.
Well, that's significant.
And it's not just the huge companies. Dobot Robotics, they showed off a palletizing system for food and beverage, uses electric grippers, simpler setup, and an all-in-one welding setup, too.
Interesting. Beyond movement, AI is also changing maintenance, right? This predictive maintenance idea.
Right. It's a step up from waiting for things to break or just doing scheduled maintenance that might not be needed.
So how does that work exactly?
Well, you use sensors to monitor equipment constantly, temperature, vibration, that kind of thing. AI then looks for tiny patterns in that data, patterns that often show up before a failure.
So you can fix it before it actually breaks down and causes downtime.
That's the goal. An injection molding company, for example, cut their maintenance time way down. And for, power grids, it could even help prevent blackouts.
Okay, that's huge. And generative AI is playing a role too.
Seems like it. It's being explored for creating new product designs, running simulations to optimize processes, even making supply chains more robust by predicting potential problems.
Looking ahead, what's next for AI in manufacturing?
Well, probably more integration with other tech, IoT, edge computing, 5G, also better human-robot collaboration, cobots. More focus on using AI for sustainability, saving energy, and hopefully making these tools more accessible for smaller players, too.
And the advice for manufacturers thinking about this?
Have a clear strategy. Know where AI adds the most value for you. And get your data house in order. You need good data to feed these systems.
Okay. Let's shift gears slightly. What about the big AI companies themselves? OpenAI made a significant hire.
Fidisamo, yeah. Coming in as CEO of applications, that signals a real push towards, products. Building user-friendly tools and focusing on the customer relationship, not just the underlying tech.
Moving from pure research to real-world deployment.
Seems like it. And you saw echoes of that in the recent AI hearing in Washington, too, right? Talk about needing the infrastructure to actually support widespread AI use.
Right, the practical side. Now, turning to how humans and AI work together, there was a fascinating, maybe slightly counterintuitive finding from this health bench evaluation.
Yes, from April 2025. It showed the latest AI models performing, basically on par with, or even slightly better than, physicians who are using AI suggestions and then refining them.
That is surprising. You'd think the human expert adding their touch would always lead to the best outcome.
You would, wouldn't you? But the analysis suggests a few reasons. Maybe the AI is just really, really optimized for those specific structured tasks in the benchmark. They might not capture all the messiness of real patient care.
Okay.
And it could also be that doctors are still figuring out the best way to use the AI, how to effectively integrate its suggestions into their own thinking. It's a learning process.
Plus, the article mentioned potential bias, not from the AI, but maybe the human expert slightly favoring their own judgment, and the need for AI to explain itself better.
Exactly. If the AI can show its reasoning, it builds trust and makes it easier for the expert to incorporate its insights effectively.
And this isn't just healthcare, is it? We're seeing similar things in law, accounting, fields with lots of rules.
Yeah, AI is getting good at the rule-based stuff, finding precedents, analyzing financials. That potentially frees up the professionals for the trickier parts, the judgment calls, the client interaction.
So the big opportunity is learning how to best collaborate with these tools.
I think so. Getting good at using AI effectively is becoming a key skill. And these systems are getting better all the time, understanding context, handling different data types, searching the web, using tools. Learning to work with them symbiotically is crucial.
Let's talk about AI agents. SAS had some thoughts on this, focusing on quality, not just quantity.
Right. Their angle is less about having tons of simple agents and more about agents that can genuinely reason, analyze data, and make valuable decisions, all with governance built in within their VIA platform.
What's the key difference they see between this and just, say, regular automation?
It's the goal orientation. An agent isn't just following steps A, B, C. It has an objective, and it dynamically adjusts its actions to try and reach that objective. It might involve orchestrating different AI tools, maybe led by an LLM.
Can you give an example?
Sure, the article mentioned a marketing campaign. An agent could, say, generate email drafts, use analytics to pick the best recipients, send them out, track results, and then tweak the emails or targeting until it hits a certain sign-up goal.
Okay, I see. But SAS also emphasized oversight.
Critically important, yes. Especially for high-stakes stuff like loan approvals or medical decisions, you absolutely need a human in the loop and clear rules about how these agents operate. Accountability matters.
Makes sense. There's also been a lot of chatter online about AI job agents. What's the idea there?
Well, the vision goes way beyond just autofilling applications. A true AI job agent would understand your career goals, customize your resume for each job, apply strategically, maybe even network for referrals, run mock interviews, and help negotiate salary based on data.
That sounds ambitious.
It is, and someone even shared they're building an agent just for finding info on people in specific jobs, but noted challenges with current tools like LangChain for these kinds of specialized tasks.
So potential is there, but maybe the tools aren't quite fully baked yet for these complex agent ideas.
Seems to be the case. There's a lot of work happening defining what these agents should do and how to build them reliably. And people are starting to explore agents for business owners too, maybe for marketing, but again, early days in terms of proven effectiveness.
Okay. And briefly, there was a mention of ethics and bias, particularly with AI recruiters.
Yeah, a study warned about potential discrimination against candidates with accents or disabilities if the AI is trained on biased data. And a researcher in Australia raised concerns that the data used there might not accurately represent all demographic groups, which could embed biases. Something to watch carefully.
Definitely. Now, switching topics, again, the link between AI and neuroscience. It's fascinating how artificial neural nets mimic the brain.
It's a foundational link, really. Early AI took direct inspiration from how we thought biological neurons worked, and that biomimicry is behind a lot of the success we see today.
And things like mirror neurons, the brain cells active when we do something or see someone else do it. Could that inspire AI too?
Potentially, yes, especially for AI that needs to understand or predict human behavior, maybe even in mental health applications down the line.
Then there are brain-computer interfaces, BCIs, like Neuralink.
Right, the idea of directly connecting the brain to a computer. Huge potential, especially for people with paralysis or communication disorders. And we're seeing progress not just with implants, but non-invasive methods too. Researchers have even used AI to translate brain activity directly into spoken words.
Incredible. And AI models are being inspired by the brain too.
Yes, models like DeepMind's AlphaFold, which tackled protein folding, or their Gato model, which can do lots of different tasks. They show the power of architectures inspired by the brain's flexibility and learning ability.
And neuromorphic chips trying to mimic the brain's efficiency.
Exactly. So this whole intersection of AI and neuroscience could lead to amazing things. Thought control devices, personalized medicine based on brain scans, more adaptable AI. It's a really exciting frontier.
Let's touch on large language models, LLMs. SAS mentioned they have limitations.
Yeah, their point was that while LLMs are amazing, they can be unpredictable. For reliable decisions, especially important ones, you often need to pair them with other types of AI or analytical processes.
So good for certain tasks, like
Mm.
speeding up data mapping maybe, but human validation is still key.
Absolutely. You need that oversight. Though there are techniques emerging where LLMs can kind of check their own work, iterating on their output to improve reliability.
A meta-release model waits for a different type of language model.
Yes, their dynamic byte latent transformer. It works at the byte level, which is different from typical tokenization. They claim similar performance, but maybe better efficiency and robustness with varied data.
Interesting. Okay, what about new tools for developers and users?
Well, ChatGPT got a GitHub connector for its research tool. That should be handy for asking questions about code bases, and it can export to PDF now.
Useful.
There's also a new command line tool called Elm. Lets you access different LLMs from your terminal or Python, including using external tools and debugging them.
And NVIDIA is working on training LLMs to use tools better.
Nemotron Tool-N1, yeah, uses reinforcement learning so the LLM can figure out how to use tools with less direct supervision.
And large concept models, LCMs, what are those?
The idea there is to use structured knowledge, like knowledge graphs, to help LLMs reason better and, crucially, provide a clear audit trail for how they reached a conclusion. Builds trust.
But even with all these tools, developers still rely heavily on places like Stack Overflow.
It seems so. Highlights that need for human-verified knowledge and community support, even in the AI age.
Right, and for chatbot builders, there's a lot happening with advanced ARG Retrieval Augmented Generation.
Yeah, lots of techniques being refined there. Better ways to chunk up information, index it smartly, and re-rank search results before feeding them to the LLM, all to get the most relevant context. It's getting quite sophisticated.
Finally, a big government initiative caught my eye. Abu Dhabi.
Yes, they announced a major push to become the world's first AI-native government. Sovereign AI clouds, deploying hundreds of AI solutions across services.
Wow, that's ambitious.
Very. Involves big investments like Microsoft putting $1.5 billion into G42 and rolling out systems like TAM 3.0 that try to predict citizen needs. It's part of the UAE's broader national AI strategy.
Okay, that covers a lot of ground for today's AI news. It's really striking how fast things are moving and how AI is weaving itself into so many different areas.
Definitely. The big themes today seem to be that shift to practical application, a more nuanced understanding of how humans and AI can best work together, and the rise of these more specialized, goal-driven AI agents.
So here's something to ponder as we wrap up. As AI gets more powerful and integrated, how do we actively guide its development and use, ensuring it aligns with our goals and values, rather than just reacting to the technology? That balance between capability and thoughtful direction feels like the central challenge ahead.
A very important question indeed. Lots to keep track of.